Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the mock trial competition, the mock trial portion of our cybercrime investigation competition at the 2021 White Hat Conference. We just heard three great presentations from our top three teams, from Team South Korea, Team Cambodia, and Team Hungary. So now we're going to bring the judges back, and the judges are going to ask questions to the competitors about their presentations, and that will be the final portion of their score, the judge question and answer portion. So if we could have our judges come back. Thank you, judges. Thank you for your work today and judging these three great competitors. So we will start with the first team, Team South Korea. So if we could have Woo Sung-yoon come back. So each judge will take turns and ask questions to the competitor. So we will start with Judge Chalky. Dr. Chalky will ask Team South Korea questions, and then also give feedback on his presentation. All right, Judge Chalky, you ready?
Yeah, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. It's my pleasure to participate in the White Hat competition today. I would like to thank Professor Choi for inviting me as a mock trial judge in this competition. In fact, I have already participated before in such competitions organized by Oxford University, but let me tell you that this competition is very, very unique. I'm very happy. I would like also to thank my colleagues, Professor Austin Givens. I would like to thank you, Jennifer. I would like to thank you, my colleague Nicola Staub for their input in this competition, and I would like to thank Rachel Land for her assistance. I will start by some comments. As for the team of South Korea, in fact, you need more explanations for digital investigation steps, and you need to focus more on the content of your presentation and to have more analysis. The presentation style was good, but needs more sentence structure. It's recommended also that you don't need the slides word by word as you did in the beginning of your presentation. In addition, you have mentioned some wrong legal codes, and you didn't mention some applied ones. As for the question, in fact, I have a general question to the three teams, and I prefer to have the same question so that this will be evaluated on the same basis and I will be fair. So my question is, according to your legal and technical experience, how can we address the challenges of tackling cybercrime on the dark web, especially using cryptocurrencies in the transactions, which makes offenders anonymous?
Okay. Please give me a moment to organize my thoughts. About cryptocurrency?
Yeah, using them on darknet, yeah. This represents a major challenge for law enforcement. How can we tackle this issue, yeah? I don't know what's your background. Is it legal or technical? Your background is technical?
Yeah, my background is technical, but I think...
Okay, from the technical perspective.
Oh, technical perspective?
Yeah.
Okay. We can figure out the suspect client system desktop, and we can analyze artifact to some artifact to when using cryptocurrency. There might be some Windows artifact or some hardware wallet or software wallet. They can be files or data in their system, so you can analyze the data or artifact, I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Judge Staub, you can give feedback and then ask your question.
Yeah, first
Okay,
of all,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. First of all, thank you very much for this presentation, and of course, it's an amazing pleasure to also be on this panel and part of this mock trial. And please excuse me, I will refrain from thanking everyone, and thank you, Chalky, to do it. But as I see, we're very limited on time. So just a brief feedback for you on the presentation. It was well presented, I think, and I thank you. From a Swiss, let's say, judge perspective, it was very focused on the technical side. And I just heard that your background is more technical than legal. So in a real life scenario, I would, of course, really recommend you here to focus a little bit more on the legal argumentation to bring forward when presenting evidence to a court. Since you're technical, I just have a more simple question to ask you. What procedure or process did you use during your investigation and forensic analysis to show and make clear to the court that the evidence was not altered or tampered with during the investigation? Do you see a technical way, or how would you show that after seizing the evidence and when presenting it, it was not altered or tampered with?
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Could you tell the question one more time?
Yes. So my question is just, after seizing evidence, I understand that you did some investigation and you looked and found evidence and suspicious activity. Now, oftentimes, or it can happen that it's questioned, that the investigator changed something or changed some even technical things within the investigation. And so is there a way, or how can you show to the court that evidence is still the same digitally when it was seen, and that nothing was changed or altered during the investigation?
Yeah. Traditional digital forensic in my side, I use Falcon hardware imaging, and they're provide integrity thing, but this competition is live forensic. Because there was live forensic, it was very difficult to retain integrity of the target system. So we tried to imaging that virtual machine, but it could be changed the thing, because once we import the software or download something, it should be changed anyway. So it was difficult, but we tried to keep integrity. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Thank you very much for your answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and now Judge Austin Gibbons will give some feedback and ask a question.
So I would say that on the whole, your presentation was very well organized. It was logical. It was clear. It was easy to follow. And so I commend you and your teammates for that. I had a question regarding your investigation of the darknet site. And I was wondering if you could go over again your process for that component of the investigation. How did you look into the darknet site? What tools did you use? Did you seek an authorization to conduct that piece of the investigation, and so on?
Actually, darknet site is after CTF, the professor give the credential data, and we after CTF we analyzed the darknet site, the analytics solving analytics problems. So When if we have a plenty of time about analyze the darknet side, you can use search subdomain and you can brute force about the credential password, something like that. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Team South Korea. And next we will have Team Cambodia, Vietnam Kong. And he will answer questions for his team. Dr. Chalky, you can start.
Yeah, as for the presentation of Team Cambodia, it was clear. Some explanations of digital investigations needed more discussion. As for the organization, you had correct sentence structure, but ideas needed to be more clear. The legal codes you mentioned had some wrong ones. I mean, you didn't mention the correct legal codes, and you missed some codes. That's general comments. And I have the same question that I asked to Team Korea. How can we address the challenges of tackling cybercrime on the dark net, especially using cryptocurrencies in the transactions by the offenders, which makes them anonymous?
First, I think we should have some information which report about the illegal transaction, and
Okay.
and if there are witness or some informant who come to tell us, we can proceed with some procedures such as finding evidence on the internet, or finding some link which can be an answer.
Yes, but let me tell you that when dealing with cryptocurrencies online, this makes offenders anonymous. How will you trace them?
I think we should find the victim of if sorry, I cannot answer.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Judge Nicholas Staub.
Yeah, hello, and thank you very much from my side for the presentation. I really thought it was very clear, and I liked also the design, how you did the slides very well. Unfortunately, I don't think we saw the last third, but I'm sure they were just as nicely done as the first half of them. And I especially liked also from a judge perspective, maybe with less technical knowledge, how you clearly showed the investigation process and how we conducted it. And I also actually really liked for that mock trial, in my view, pretty complete and clear legal conclusions that were done. For the question, you also very nicely presented the 3 search warrants. Let's assume for my question that search warrant number 2 is ruled invalid by the court. Can you think what this would mean for your investigation? If this search warrant was ruled invalid, just 1 out of the 3, and then would you need to do something maybe from a digital or forensic perspective with the evidence, or can you leave it as it is?
I think if one search warrant is invalid during the court trial, and it was not admissible in the court, I think I will contact my forensics examiners in order to find more probable cause on the, the suspect computers and machine. And when we gather all the information, which can be the probable cause, we can submit all the information we find from our forensic examination, and then we then again request the search warrant so that we can proceed with the investigation.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Judge Austin Gibbons.
Thank you. I appreciate the quality of your presentation, echoing Judge Staub and Judge Chalky's earlier comments. And I'd also like to commend you for completing your presentation despite the technical glitches. It's not easy to recover from something like that, which is beyond your control. My question to you is, at what point exactly did your team realize that you would need a third search warrant for the darknet site? What prompted your team to make that understanding that you'd need a third warrant?
The prompts we get the hint from our case manager. He said that there was an update latest qualities of cocaine in the darknet. And then during our forensic examination, we also find the evidence, find files on the machine of the window machine, which is not Linux. And then we do the forensic examination on that file, and then we can see some information related to darknet. And then we request for the warrant, the third warrant, in order to do the search on the darknet.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Team Cambodia. And next we will hear from our final team, Team Hungary. And Judge Chalky will again start us off.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. In fact, I enjoyed your presentation so much. One comment, as I mentioned to one of the teams, it's not recommended that you read the slides word by word. You can summarize it as you did in the beginning. As for the codes, you didn't mention all of them. Also, you repeated code 2512 for many offenses, and you missed some codes, and you mentioned some wrong codes. As for the presentation style, it was good, well organized, and the sentence structure was also good. That's the comments. Now to my question. If you have a search warrant to search for an evidence on a computer, and while searching on this computer, you discovered a new offense, are you going to have another search warrant, or you will continue searching using the same search warrant?
I believe that depends on the legal system. The legal system Hungary uses allows the investigators to continue the search and get the warrant later if it's proven that if we get the search and wait for the search warrant, that evidence might expire. So I would say in Hungary we would continue the search, and after that we would write the search warrant after the time that we done with the inspection. But of course it depends on the legal system as well. If the rules doesn't allow this method, then we should go for another search warrant.
I'm talking about Hungary.
Excuse me?
I'm talking about your country.
So in Hungary, we would continue the search, and we would write another search warrant after we finish.
Okay, thank you.
Jennifer, is it my turn?
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you very much. Big thank you for your presentation and welcome also from Switzerland. Just 2 comments. First, I really also enjoyed how you presented and how you used the slides with a very great timeline slide that made it also for a non-technical judge very clear of the steps that you took. A second quick comment is not going to influence my scoring, but congratulations on the name that you chose, 50 Shades of Grey Hat. I really like it very much, but as I said, it's not going to go into the scoring. Just, for my question, and I saw this often as a prosecutor, let's assume you secured the evidence as you presented, and maybe before the trial, the perpetrator asks to get the physical hardware back, to get his expensive computer back. From your perspective, would you be able to do something like that and give the computer back? Or would you say, no, you don't give it back, it was used for crimes? If you give it back or not, is there some argument that speaks in favor of doing this or not doing that? What could you do to decide one or the other?
Again, it depends on the legal system, but in Hungary, if we have a decree of search and seizure, we don't use warrants, we write decrees for search and seizure. We seize evidences. There are 3 types of evidences: personal evidences, like testimonies, physical evidences, like a letter, and digital evidences. If we seize a computer with the suspicion of a crime, it was committed with this computer, we are allowed to hold back that computer until the end of the trial. So we don't have to give it back.
Good, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, great. Judge Austin Gibbons.
Thank you. I also very much appreciate the clever team name that you chose, but like Judge Staub, that won't influence my scoring. I'd like to ask you to think out loud a bit here. When would you say that a person's internet browser history demonstrates illegal intentions?
After inspecting the browser history, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But how can you know? How can you know the person's intentions just by viewing the browser history?
The browser history shows the interest of the said person. If I'm interested in buying a chair, I will search for chairs via Google. If I'm interested in how do any other people produce a bomb, just because I'm curious, I will search for that. But if I want to manufacture a bomb by myself, I will search for more specific information about that. So these hints can, I believe, these hints can give us directions about the said person's interest.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Team Hungary. Appreciate that. Very impressive performances by all of our competitors. Thank you so much for your hard work in this competition. Excellent job by all of you. So since this is a mock trial, I think it's only appropriate that we have a final verdict for our friend, Mr. Evil Noodle. So after carefully considering the evidence and the legal codes presented, the judges have reached a final verdict. Judge Austin Gibbons will present the verdict on behalf of the judges now.
It's always a precarious thing when you have to sort through the many different penal codes applicable to Mr. Evil Noodle's offenses. But there is one offense that I think has a high probability of sticking were this an actual jury trial in the United States using the United States legal system. And the specific law in question that I've identified that has been cited by some of the competitors is Title 21 United States Code Section 841, which addresses the distribution of a controlled substance. And given the amount in terms of dollars as well as physical quantities, meaning mass or weight, that Mr. Evil Noodle was distributing on his darknet site, I believe he is eligible to be sentenced to not less than 20 years in prison and eligible for a fine of up to 50 million US dollars. So I doubt we'll be seeing Mr. Evil Noodle for quite a while.
All right, so not very good news there for Mr. Evil Noodle. So now I'd like to just invite our judges to present any final comments that they'd like to make about the competition. Dr. Chalky, would you like to start?
No, thank you. Everything is okay.
All right.
Well, from my end, maybe just again, thank you to the presenters. And if during my time so far fighting cybercrime, the one thing I have seen is that it's really a truly global problem. As I think we have also maybe not seen that much in the mock trial, but it's clear that this evidence is usually spread around the world. Or maybe from a Swiss perspective, it's often also in the US with our friends that we can and need to get it. And so it's very, very important, I think, to participate and to support such competitions, especially also with international participants. And it's at that sense, I think I'm surely speaking also for my fellow judge, Chucky, and all the international teams present. A big thank you for doing this and enabling and participating globally.
All right, thank you. Judge Austin Gibbons.
Thank you, Jen. You know, there's so much that we can say about this competition. I'll speak kind of from my personal perspective as well as my perspective as an educator, and then try to bring things up to a more macro level. First of all, I'm personally so impressed with the array and diversity of teams that we saw in this competition, fully recognizing that the vast majority of them were operating in a language that was not their first, in some cases not even their second language. And they were having to do so in the context of a foreign penal system. And yet, despite that diversity and those challenges, they rose beautifully to the occasion. They were able to orient themselves within US law. They were able to orient themselves within the competition platform itself. This was an endurance test in the physical sense as well as mental sense, because they were up collectively for at least 24 hours, actually attempting to solve the problems presented in the challenge, documenting it, asking meticulous questions of the case managers, of whom I was one, and doing it all with a high degree of professionalism and attention to excellence that is really just commendable. So I would say, again, at a personal level, as someone who also is concerned about cybercrime as an ordinary citizen, this is very heartening. This is very heartening. The theme of the competition and indeed the conference has been all together against cybercrime. And one really gets that sense that there is this sort of global drive and unity that brings us all together. And if what we have seen during this competition is any early indication of where things will go in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years, then I'm heartened and I am more optimistic than I was just a few days ago. So in that sense, great praise to all involved. This has been a really excellent exercise. I would say for the teams that made it to the top, to the final round, wonderful job. You've proven your mettle. under very challenging circumstances. And what you have achieved just by making it this far is something about which to be very proud. And so finally, I would just say, you know, to my fellow judges and the facilitators of this entire competition and conference, thank you as well, because this has been a true team effort. It's been an absolute blast working alongside you. And I do hope that we get to do this again in the not too distant future. So Jen, back to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Austin. So this will close out the mock trial portion of the competition. Congratulations to all 3 teams again. Team South Korea, Team Cambodia, and Team Hungary. Excellent job. Special thank you again to our impressive panel of international judges, Dr. Mohammed Chowki, Judge Nicola Staub, and Dr. Austin Gibbons. So now the judges will finalize their scores. We will do some final tabulations, and then the winners will be announced at the award ceremony at 4 p.m. Eastern Time today by Dr. Chu from Utica College. Thank you again to Dr. Choi for organizing this amazing conference. It really has been a team effort. So many people have worked so hard to put this on, and it's been an honor for me to be a part of it. So thank you so much, and thank you all for joining our mock trial competition. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. That was wonderful. And thank you so much to our judges and our competitors as well. This has been a great conclusion to our event here, or I guess not our event, but this morning's ceremonies. We're going to go into a lunch break here, and then we'll be back at 1 p.m. Where we'll be announcing the paper competition session 1 winners. So make sure you join us back here at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to go into a lunch break right now. So thanks for joining us.